Do you know that sound? That deep, heavy, satisfied sigh your dog makes when they finally settle down at your feet after a long day. It is the sound of absolute, unconditional trust. They trust us with their meals, their comfort, and their safety. But most importantly, they trust us with their very bodies every single time we clip that leash onto them for our daily walk. But what if I told you that the one thing we do to keep them healthy, our daily stroll through the neighborhood, might be the very thing silently causing them permanent, life-altering damage? I learned this the hard way with my old boy, Buster. I thought I was being a good owner. I thought I was doing everything by the book, but I was wrong. And today, I want to share the things I truly wish someone had sat me down and told me 10 years ago, before the damage was already done. Most of us watching this grew up in a very different era of dog ownership. Think back 30, 40, or 50 years. Back then, a dog was often just the dog. We loved them, certainly, but training was different. A simple leather or nylon collar and a sturdy lead were just how it was done. We were taught that the leash was a steering wheel and a brake pedal. We were told that if a dog pulls, you give the leash a little pop or a quick sharp tug to show them who's in charge. We called it a correction. Or maybe, like I did for many years, we just ignored that constant leaning tension on the line. We'd walk down the street with our arms stretched out, the dog gasping slightly, and we'd think, oh, he's just excited to be outside. He's just a puller. We assumed that if it really hurt them, they'd stop. But as we get a little older ourselves, once we pass that 55 or 60-year milestone, we start to realize that the body is a lot more fragile than we once thought. We start to understand what stiff necks and lingering joint pain really feel like. We know how one wrong move in the garden or one awkward night's sleep can ruin our entire week. Well, our dogs are no different. They feel that same stiffness, that same sharp ache in their vertebrae. The only difference is that they are biologically programmed to hide their pain. They don't want to let the pack down. They just keep walking, tail wagging, because their desire to be by your side is stronger than their own physical suffering. Let's take a moment to really look at a dog's neck. To us, it might look thick and sturdy, especially on a Labrador or a Golden Retriever. But beneath that fur, it is one of the most vulnerable parts of their entire anatomy. It is a crowded highway of vital systems. It is the home to the thyroid gland, which regulates their entire metabolism. It houses the windpipe, the trachea, and the esophagus. It contains the jugular vein and the carotid artery, and most importantly, it protects the cervical spine, the very beginning of the spinal cord. Every time a dog hits the end of a leash attached to a standard neck collar, that force isn't distributed. It is concentrated. It's a focused impact on a tiny, fragile area. It is like a hammer blow to the very center of their nervous system. Over a single walk, that might happen 20 times. Over a year, that's thousands of tiny car accidents happening to their neck. Why is this so dangerous? Specifically as our dogs enter their senior years. There are 3 major medical issues that usually go completely unnoticed until the damage is permanent. First, let's talk about the thyroid connection. This is something many vets are only now starting to scream from the rooftops. The thyroid gland sits right where a collar rests. When a dog pulls, the collar crushes that gland. Over years, this constant micro-trauma causes the immune system to attack the thyroid, leading to chronic inflammation and eventually hypothyroidism. Have you noticed your dog becoming suddenly lethargic? Are they gaining weight even though they aren't eating more? Is their coat losing its luster? It might not just be old age. It might be that their metabolism has been physically bruised by years of collar walking. Second, and this one truly broke my heart when I learned it, is intraocular pressure, or eye pressure. It sounds strange, doesn't it? How can a collar affect the eyes? Well, scientific studies have proven that when a dog pulls against a neck collar, the pressure inside their eyeballs spikes significantly. It's like a temporary surge of glaucoma every time they see a squirrel. For breeds already prone to eye issues, our beloved cockers, terriers, beagles, or poodles, this constant pressure is a direct path to permanent vision loss. We think we're just holding them back, but we're actually putting their eyesight at risk. And finally, there is the whiplash effect. We've all seen it. A bird flies low, or a neighbor's dog barks, and snap. Your dog reaches the end of the leash, and their head jerks back violently. To a human, That's a trip to the ER and a neck brace for a month. For a dog, we just say heel and keep walking. But that sudden impact causes herniated discs and long-term nerve damage. You know that wobbly back end, or the way some older dogs start to drag their paws. We often call it arthritis or hip dysplasia, but many times the root cause is actually referred pain or nerve impingement starting right there in the neck. I remember a specific morning with Buster. He was about 7 then, in the prime of his life. We were walking through the park on one of those crisp, beautiful autumn mornings. I was using a standard nylon collar, and I remember giving him a sharp pop on the lead because he was sniffing a tree for too long. I saw him flinch. It wasn't a big move, just a slight tuck of the chin. But for the first time in 7 years, I really saw it. I realized that my best friend, the creature who sleeps at the foot of my bed and greets me like a hero every time I come home from the grocery store, was afraid of my hand on the leash. He still loved the walk, but he had learned to associate the outside world with a sharp pain in his throat. My heart sank. I thought about my own neck, how much I hate even a tight turtleneck sweater, and here I was, putting a mechanical chokehold on the soul I loved most in this world. We are at a stage in our lives where we value comfort, gentleness, and kindness above all else. Why on earth would we want our dogs to feel anything less than that when they are with us? So, what is the better way? I'm not suggesting we stop walking. Heaven knows those walks are often the best part of my day too. They keep us moving, they get us fresh air, and they keep our hearts healthy. The shift is incredibly simple, yet it changes the entire dynamic of the relationship. The Y-shaped harness. I'll be honest with you, I was a skeptic at first. I'm from the old school. I thought, if I put the leash on his chest, won't he just have more leverage to pull me down the street like a sled dog? But here is the fascinating thing about canine psychology. When a dog feels pain or pressure in their neck, their natural opposition reflex kicks in. They actually pull harder to try and outrun the discomfort. It's a panic response. When you switch to a well-fitted Y-shaped harness, you move that pressure away from the soft tissues of the neck and onto the sturdy, broad bone structure of the chest and rib cage. The moment Buster felt that relief, his entire body language changed. He stopped straining. He started walking with me, not against me. And while we're talking about a better way, let's talk about the long lead walk. At our age, we've spent our whole lives rushing. Rushing to work, rushing to raise the kids, rushing to beat traffic. We don't need to rush the dog walk. Try using a longer leash, maybe 10 or 15 feet, and let it hang in a loose, relaxed U-shape. Let your dog be a dog. Let them sniff that patch of grass for 5 minutes. To us, it's just grass. To them, that scent is a rich, complex story. It's how they communicate with the world. Sniffing actually lowers a dog's heart rate. It's a calming exercise. Let the walk be a sniffari rather than a march. It's a therapy session for both of you. There is a very specific kind of peace that comes with knowing you are doing right by an old friend. When I finally made the switch and threw that old collar in the drawer, I noticed Buster started looking up at me more during our walks. Because he wasn't constantly braced for a jerk on his neck, his mind was free to actually engage with me. We started having a conversation with our eyes again. We only get a few short years with these beautiful souls. If we are lucky, maybe 12, 15 years. If we can trade a traditional collar for a harness and give them even just 2 or 3 more years of pain-free, mobile, happy life, isn't that the greatest gift we can give? They give us their entire lives, their absolute loyalty, and a brand of love that you just can't find anywhere else. The very least we can do is ensure their golden years are spent in comfort and dignity, not in a silent struggle against a piece of nylon around their throat. I know this might be a lot to process. It's never easy to realize that we've been doing something one way for 30 or 40 years, only to find out there's a more compassionate path. But I've always believed that getting older means getting wiser. As the great Maya Angelou once said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." I'm not a veterinarian, and I'm not a high-priced professional trainer. I'm just a guy who spent a lot of years with dogs at his side, trying to help other folks in our community keep their companions around for as long as possible. If this story resonated with you, or if it made you look over at your own dog resting on the rug and think about your next walk together, then I've done what I set out to do. If you'd like to stay a while and hear more stories about how we can make life better for our senior dogs, and maybe for ourselves in the process. It would be a pleasure to have you as part of our little group here. You are more than welcome to subscribe if you'd like to see what we share next. Or a simple like helps me know that this message found its way to someone who needed to hear it. Go ahead and give your pup an extra scratch behind the ears, right in that sweet spot, for me today. They truly are a blessing. Take care of yourselves and take care of those dogs. I'll see you in the next one.